In the last video, we named the structure. The salary is a cage, and most people, no matter how educated, no matter how disciplined, will spend their entire career optimizing their position inside it. Today, we do not talk about the cage. Today, we talk about the man who never accepted it. There is a figure in ancient history, not a philosopher, not a king by birth, not a man of inherited advantage, who built the most sophisticated wealth accumulation system the ancient world had ever seen. He started with nothing. He was betrayed, trafficked, imprisoned, and from that position, he designed an economic architecture so precise, so strategic, so structurally sound that it fed an entire civilization during its worst crisis, and made him the second most powerful man on earth. Most people who know his story have only ever been taught the emotional version. Today, we teach the financial version. Here is a question that almost no one asks. Why do two people with identical incomes, identical educations, identical starting points end up in completely different financial positions 20 years later? Not slightly different, categorically different. One is still working, still dependent, still 1 month of missed income away from structural collapse. The other has built something that works without him. The standard answer blames spending habits, luck, opportunity, privilege. And while those factors exist, they do not explain the pattern, because the pattern is too consistent. Across cultures, across centuries, across income levels, the real answer is this. There are two types of minds operating in every economy: the worker's mind and the architect's mind. The worker's mind asks, how do I perform better so I earn more? The architect's mind asks, how do I design something that earns whether I perform or not? These are not personality types. They are not gifts you are born with. They are frameworks, learned, practiced, applied. And the man history remembers as Joseph of Egypt was the purest example of an architect's mind that Scripture ever recorded. He did not work his way to power. He designed his way there, and the design had 5 components. Component 1. Cycle intelligence. Every economy in human history has moved in cycles. Expansion, contraction, abundance, scarcity. This is not theory. This is not prediction. This is the oldest observable pattern in economic life, and yet the majority of people behave as though their current season will last forever. When income is strong, they expand their lifestyle as if the abundance is permanent. When scarcity arrives, they contract in panic as if they never saw it coming. Joseph did neither. When he read Pharaoh's situation, 7 years of surplus followed by 7 years of collapse, he did not react emotionally to either half of the cycle. He saw the full arc, and the man who sees the full arc operates differently from the man who only sees today. The old money families of Europe understood this with a precision that their heirs still benefit from today. The Rothschild banking dynasty was not built on superior intelligence. It was built on superior timing. They moved capital into positions that others had abandoned out of fear, and they exited positions that others were flooding into out of greed. They read cycles while everyone around them reacted to moments. The modern application is this. You have financial seasons in your life, whether you recognize them or not. Career peaks, high income years, periods of low obligation and strong cash flow. These are your 7 fat years. And the question Joseph forces every serious professional to answer is not, what can I afford right now? The question is, what am I building right now so that when the lean years arrive, I am the one supplying, not the one surviving? The second component of Joseph's system is the one that separates strategic wealth from reactive wealth. He did not wait for the famine. He positioned before the famine during the years when no one felt any urgency. This is counterintuitive to almost every human instinct. Human beings are wired to act when pressure arrives. We respond to crisis. We mobilize under threat. We make decisions when discomfort forces us to. Joseph operated on the exact opposite principle. He built the reserve when building was easiest. He acquired the supply when no one else was competing for it. He created the position before the demand existed. This is precisely how generational wealth is built, and precisely why most people never build it. The families who acquired land in the American Midwest in the early 20th century did not do so because they saw its immediate value. They did so because they understood that land feeds people, and people will always need to eat. They positioned before the demand became obvious. By the time everyone else recognized the value, these families already owned it. The uncomfortable truth this principle reveals is the best time to build is always before you feel the urgency to build, before your income drops, before your job disappears, before your body forces you to slow down. The professional who begins building passive income when they are comfortable will be sovereign by the time discomfort arrives. The professional who waits until discomfort arrives to begin is building under the worst possible conditions, with the least capital, the most pressure, the fewest options. Joseph built his walls before the storm. That is not luck. That is design. The third component is systemic extraction, and it's the one most people intellectually agree with, and almost no one actually implements. Joseph did not save what was left over. He extracted first. 20% of all agricultural production taken at the point of harvest before any other decision was made, before the farmer counted his profit, before the merchant weighed his goods, before any household decided what it needed. 20% removed from the discretionary layer entirely and redirected into a strategic reserve. The reason this matters is not the percentage. The reason this matters is the architecture. Voluntary saving fails not because people lack intention, but because money that enters your full possession before it is allocated almost never survives to its intended destination. Life intervenes. Obligations appear. Comfort makes decisions. The only wealth that reliably accumulates is wealth that is extracted before you feel it arrive. This is the mechanism behind every serious wealth-building system in modern history. The wealthiest families in the world do not budget what they save. They structure what they extract. Automatically, consistently, invisibly to their daily emotional state. Your income arrives, and before you make a single other decision, a fixed percentage has already moved into a productive position, not into a savings account, into something that works. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce. Proverbs 3:9. First fruits, not what remains, not what is convenient. First. The extraction model is not modern. It is not a financial hack. It is the oldest wealth principle in recorded human history, and it works because it removes wealth accumulation from the domain of willpower and places it inside the domain of structure. Structure always wins. The fourth component is asset selection, the one that exposes the single most dangerous mistake the modern professional makes. Joseph did not store currency, he stored grain. That distinction is not a historical detail, it is the entire game. Currency is a claim on value. It is a promise issued by an authority that this paper represents something real. And like every promise issued by an authority, its value is entirely dependent on that authority's decisions, competence, and continued existence. Grain is value. It does not represent anything. It is something. It feeds people, and people will trade everything. Their currency, their livestock, their land, their labor, to eat. The question this forces every modern professional to confront is this: am I accumulating currency or grain? Cash sitting in a savings account, earning 2% interest while inflation runs at 4% is not saving. It is a controlled loss. You are holding a depreciating promise, while the families who understand this principle are holding productive assets. Rental property that generates income every month, whether you show up or not. Equity in businesses that serve genuine human needs. Land that feeds, houses, and enables the lives of others. Skills and intellectual assets that produce value independent of any single employer's mood. Old money did not trust paper. They never have. They held things that produced. When the famine came, the people gave everything they had for grain, not for gold, not for currency, for the thing that was essential. Build your portfolio around essentials. and you will never spend your life chasing wealth that keeps moving away from you. The fifth component is what all the others build toward, and it is the component that most wealth conversations never reach because most wealth conversations stop at accumulation. Joseph did not build a reserve, he built a position. There is a profound difference between those two things. A reserve is defensive, it protects you from loss. A position is generative, it attracts gain without you having to pursue it. By the time the famine arrived, Egypt did not merely have enough grain. Egypt had all the grain, and when every surrounding nation exhausted its supply, there was only one place on earth to go. They did not summon Joseph. They did not negotiate with Joseph from a position of strength. They came to him, hat in hand, desperate, willing to exchange anything for access to what he held. This is the end point that the entire system builds toward. Not financial security, though security comes. Not financial freedom, though freedom comes. Sovereign supply, the position in which your assets generate more than your lifestyle requires, and the world comes to you rather than you running after it. In modern terms, this looks like a portfolio of income-producing assets whose combined output exceeds your monthly obligations, permanently removing you from the cycle of salary dependence. At that point, the job becomes optional. The employer becomes optional. The question is no longer, will I have enough? The question becomes, how do I steward what keeps arriving? That shift from scarcity thinking to stewardship thinking is the shift from employee to owner, from worker to architect, from salary to sovereignty. Joseph's 5-component system is not complicated. It does not require genius. It does not require inherited capital. It does not require the right connections or the right country or the right moment in history. It requires a framework applied with the kind of patience that the modern world has been deliberately trained to resist. Read your cycle, know what season you are in, and build accordingly. Position before demand. Build before you need what you are building. Extract first. Make accumulation structural, not optional. Select assets, not currency. Own things that produce, not things that sit. Build toward sovereignty, the point where assets replace the requirement for active labor. Joseph began this system as a slave. He had no capital, no network, no inheritance. What he had was a mind that refused to think like a worker in circumstances designed to break him into one. You have more than Joseph had when he started. You have income, you have access, you have information. The only question is whether you are going to use those advantages the way the system designed you to use them, or the way Joseph did. The next video goes into something most people have felt, but never had language for. Why the generation before you worked harder than almost anyone and still left nothing behind. Not because they failed, but because they were handed the wrong framework and never told. Subscribe and come prepared.